It is time for Q&A with the Body Positive Fairy Godmother. Today's question is coming from Fran, and Fran wants to know, how do you stay positive when you look in the mirror and see rolls, not the kind you eat, and bulges? First, thank you so much for submitting your question, Fran. I love talking about body positivity, body acceptance, self-love. I am just on a mission to inspire, encourage, and empower other women to just embrace themselves and love themselves as they are in the body that they have today. So, going back to your question, it is really hard when we look in the mirror and we see things that we don't like, those bulges and those rolls. I know for me personally, I carry all my weight in my stomach. It is very jiggly. It is, got lots of rolls. So even as comfortable and confident as I am in my skin today, I still have those days where I look in the mirror and I just want to nitpick every little thing, not just my belly, but lots of other things on my body that I don't like. And the key thing for me and what I want you to remember is it's really important to have grace with ourselves. I don't think it's possible, at least in my experience, that any woman is ever going to wake up every single day and look in the mirror and love and embrace what she sees. Again, I can't speak for every other woman out there, but I know in my experience that is not the case. And what really works for me on those days, I remind myself to just choose one thing that I like about my body on that day. So, for example, on those days that I'm nitpicking my belly, I look and I love my smile. So I will look in the mirror and I'll just remind myself of how beautiful my smile is, how great my smile is. I love to use positive body affirmations, and I actually want to ask you some questions in response to your question. So, the first question that I would like you to ask yourself, Fran, is when you look in the mirror and you're not feeling very positive about those bulges and those rolls that you see, ask yourself, is there anything I can do this very moment within the next 24 hours to change them? If not, let's move on to question number two. The second question that I'd love for you to ask yourself is, do I want to change anything about those bulges and those rolls? If the answer is yes, then put into place what you want to do to help you move towards that goal of, wanting to change things about your body. And then the third question, and I already touched on this, is what is one thing that I like about my body today? There is always something that we can find if we just look hard enough, that we like about our bodies. So when I started my journey, it was just having to, and I just remember so specifically like the feelings of what I would do. When I would look in the mirror, and there was a really long time that I wouldn't even look in a full length mirror because that's how disgusted, ashamed, and embarrassed by my body that I was. So, starting from the very basic baby step that I could take was looking in the mirror and finding that one thing that day that I liked. For me, it was my smile. So I would stand in front of the mirror and I would say an affirmation around my smile and remind myself just how amazing and wonderful my smile was. As soon as I could, look in the mirror and say, I love my smile, I would move on to the next part of my body. And I just literally, from the top of my head all the way down to my toes, I worked through every part of my body. And sometimes it took me way longer on one part of the body. Again, going back to my stomach, when I got to that part of my body, it took weeks. It might have even been longer than weeks before I could actually like look in the mirror, look at my stomach, and believe that I actually really did love, accept, and embrace my belly. And the other thing that I would say, part of my message is all about loving our bodies, but for some women, they tell me that they can't get to a place of loving. Just learn to accept and embrace the body that you have. Because if we stop and think about it, our bodies are really freaking amazing. Going back again to my stomach, even on the days that I do have those, negative days where I just look and I don't like it and nitpick at it, I like to remind myself something positive about it. And the positive for me is I carried my son for 9 months. He was 11 days overdue. So I carried him a little too long, but just reminding myself of, the positive thing about how amazing that stomach is and those stretch marks that I have and that C-section scar. Like my belly did that. My belly like held another human being. How amazing is that? So when you're not feeling very positive, just pick that one thing again and just focus on how positive it is. Look at your fingers, your hands. They're amazing. They allow you to do the work that you do. They allow you to type. They allow you to eat, everything. It's just so much easier to be positive if we're focusing on something positive and not something negative. And I want to leave you with one of my very favorite quotes, and it's actually listed in my journal. Love your body, love yourself, a 21-day self-love and body acceptance journey. If I could wave my magic wand and let all women just wake up and embrace and accept their bodies, I would, but it's not that easy. So the quote that I want to leave you with is, "And I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend." It took a long breath and replied, "I've been waiting my whole life for this." That quote is by Naria. Yeah, I'm not sure. Wahid, but it's my favorite quote. And really, our bodies do just want us to be friends with them. They're just amazing. Again, Fran, thank you so much for submitting your question. I could talk about this stuff all day long, so I so appreciate you. Have a great day.